What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Well, I want to give you a quick update on what Rndr's price is doing and what I am preparing for, because it does seem like it's going to make a breakout pretty soon here, and of course I want to keep you guys as prepared as possible. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into the video. Now, looking at Rndr, what we can see is that its price is still hovering on this zone of support that we've been talking about for the last week or two. I've told you all on a consistent basis that throughout May I was buying as Rndr's price did try to hold this level of support, not necessarily because I'm 100% confident that it's going to hold this support, but more quite simply, I want to buy more Rndr, and I'm okay with buying Rndr at levels in which could hold as support and push the price to the upside. Now, what I do know though is that the longer that Rndr sits here on the support level, the more likely that it's going to become that it does break to the downside, okay? And so knowing that the likelihood of it starting to pull back under $9, $10 and something like that pretty soon here, I am now starting to prepare my buying targets and my strategies as Rndr's price does possibly start to fall. Now again, I'm not saying for sure that it's going to crash because I don't know what it's going to do, but I am just preparing for that likelihood and for that opportunity if it does happen, and that's what we're going to do today. So looking at Rndr here, let me tell you exactly what my game plan is. My game plan for Rndr is to continue to buy Rndr at key levels of support that I think will serve as beautiful opportunities for its price to bounce to the upside. Not levels that I know for sure are going to hold its support, but the ones that offer the opportunity. And that's all I can do, because at the end of the day, I want to buy more Rndr, I want to add to my bag, and I want to be able to add more slowly over time at the best levels possible. And the best levels possible to buy a crypto are at levels of support, because those are the only levels realistically that you will see its price maybe reverse off of. Simple as that. And so let me point out and plot out those key levels of support and why they are important. Now, key level of support number one is going to be sitting here right here at $9.34. Okay, this is going to be the very first level that I'm going to be doing major buying on Rndr. The primary reason as to why I'm doing that is quite simply because this is the previous point of resistance. This was the breakout zone. This was the inverse head and shoulder zone. This was the level of resistance that was important. Okay, and so knowing that we had these moments here and we had the structure form here, obviously as we come back down, I do think we're going to try to find some support here. I think its price could easily continue upwards after backtesting this previous point of resistance, flipping it into support and continue upwards. And so of course I will be buying right around $9.35. Now, under the circumstance that we do lose $9.35, that would be a little bit of a implication that maybe a further continuation to as low as $8 to $7 is on the way. So I would start to prepare more buys to the downside as well. Now, the next one that I would be doing is actually based off of this double top that would then be formed based off of course, this structure here. Let me show you this. Okay, if we lose this, boom, now we have this double top going into action, okay? Now, under the circumstance in which a double top goes into action, you take the distance from the top of the double top down to what's called the mid-level of support, this level here. You apply it below the mid-level of support, okay? Now, that is going to give you your breakout zone to the downside. That's where the price could easily go. Very simply, very easily, it's a breakout target. And in this example, that is going to be $8.25. Here we go. Let's mark that out again. Boom. Now, $8.25 is going to serve as the next zone in which I would be doing a lot of buying. So it could look something like this, right? Rndr's price pulls back to the downside, tries to bounce off $9.35, fails, comes back down, bounces towards $8.25. That is very possible based off of not only just this previous point of resistance, but this key level of support as well. And so, of course, because of that, I'd be looking to do my buying on Rndr right here. Now, those are the only two major buy levels, specific levels that I have currently, but they are supported by a couple other things. One thing that we can see is this ascending trend line that we paid attention to as Rndr was going for its breakout. Okay, let's go ahead and adjust there. Boom. What you can see is that we have this upwards or ascending level of support that has now been confirmed with these two support establishments. And it wouldn't shock me that if Rndr's price does pull to the downside, then maybe it engages with this previous point of or this breakout zone right here, this breakout target here, maybe at the trend line, right? So maybe it would look something like that. Maybe its price would continue downwards that quickly. You never really know, but when you have an ascending level of support that interacts and engages with other breakdown zones, you need to pay attention to it, because this little thing's going to act like a magnet. This acts like a magnet a lot, okay? And so we, of course, have that level of support. Now, on top of that level of support, what you can see is that we have this 618 to 786 Fibonacci zone. And if Rndr's price does start to pull to the downside, it wouldn't shock me if we get little wicks down into this $8, $7, and $2.50 zone, because we do have this massive Fibonacci zone sitting down here as well that will also act like a magnet. So when you combine the fact that we have this trend line here with this magnet of a Fibonacci zone here, it can mixed in with these two breakout targets, it's no surprise that we could see this thing fall between $9.30 and $8.20, and that's exactly why I would be buying some down here. Now, sure, it may continue down further than that, and it may lose support and go down lower than $7.18. I just personally don't think that's going to happen. You know, obviously we have, again, this support, we have this breakout zone support, we have this support, and we have this support. Massive levels of support in this zone here. And so I just don't think that Rndr's price, if it breaks down to the downside, is going to just go through all of them, right? I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it would find some support. I think it would look to continue to the upside and likely engage with this little trend, right? We're seeing something like that for him. So maybe come back down, boom, and then look to break and something like that, right? But obviously I have no idea. That's just a guess. But at the end of the day, what I know is that I don't think we're going to lose all of these support levels and crash down to $6 to $7 range. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it finds some support in here, and so because of that, I'm going to be buying at these two major zones of $9.35 and $8.25 in order to hopefully get the best buying opportunities possible prior to Rndr making that continuation to the upside. Now, guys, don't forget, I do post all of my buys. Everything that I am buying ends up getting posted over here in HG Access. It is linked down in the description below. You can see what I'm buying. You can see what guys like My Financial Friend and Connor Kinney and much more buying. We have exclusive live streams, seminars, exclusive content. You get market recaps. You get alpha plays from us that are saying like, hey, this company's running marketing, they could pump soon, etc. We have one of the best gym callers in the world, a guy named Plaketo, giving his degen plays and alpha calls in there as well. And we have been making people absolutely insane gains. I mean, you've seen it, 9% here, 565% here, 1,300% here. Absolutely insane. And the community making 570%, 70%, 25%, 30%, 136%. Absolutely insane gains. So make sure that if you do want to be a part of that, you go check out the link down in the description below. But guys, overall, listen, this has been a beautiful move from Rndr. I'm very happy with the fact that it's holding up support here, but I am preparing that it could fall to the downside. And if it does, I'm preparing buys at $9.35 and a much bigger buy at $8.25 to try to capitalize on that pullback as much as possible. So with that in mind, I will continue to update you as this thing does play out. I've been making videos on Bitcoin, Solana, Rndr, Jasmy, meme coins, microcaps, pre-sales, and much more. So if you do enjoy the kind of diversified content, make sure that you do let me know by subscribing to the channel, by liking this video so more people see it, and by tuning into the next one, because I do have a few more coming today for you. So with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get ready for the next video. Peace out, everybody.